So, welcome to the world of practical mysticism. Welcome to a wondrous way of living each day of your life. A way of life that will allow many of your dreams to become realities. I say, my friend, welcome to a way of living that can result in more love, income, success, fulfillment, creativity, and awareness. Right? You are about to discover how to use the exact same power that Christ and other beings utilized down through the ages. This is a power to which the so-called, quote, supernatural, end quote, was attributed. Right? The decision you have made to study practical mysticism is going to influence your life for the better. Trust me. More than probably any decision you will ever make. Now, why do I state this with such certainty? Well, it's because practical mysticism is based on the use of the absolute power available to all human beings. If you are a new student of mysticism, consider yourself blessed. As a whole new world and concept of yourself and your potential is about to open to you. You will not only discover what mysticism truly is, yet even more important, you will learn how to apply it to every area of your life that you would like to see improved. Your thirst for a better life is about to be quenched. Now, to the long-time student of life's mysteries, you have now taken the ultimate step in your search and your studies. For no matter how much you have studied and learned, it is all meaningless unless you can apply such knowledge to improve the quality of your own life and then the lives of others around you. Thousands of students of life's mysteries have come before me who were, let's say, quote, walking encyclopedias, end quote, of esoteric, occult, and mystical knowledge. Nonetheless, they were lonely, unloved, unsuccessful, and without any funds. All of this can change by saying a simple affirmation to yourself. For all I know nothing if I cannot demonstrate a better life. So, let us swallow our esoteric pride. Right? Let's stop living in vague daydreams and bring the ethereal down to earth. Talk is cheap, right? It may impress the neophyte. However, as I have told students for many years, you got to put up or shut up. If indeed there is a higher power that can perform miracles in your life, why then haven't you demonstrated it? To define mysticism, it's basically a much abused word in today's world, yet it really represents the highest quest of human growth and awareness. Now, I use the word abused because mysticism has become a catch-all term, encompassing everything from crystal gazing to tea leaf readings. And no disrespect. However, in reality, it's none of these phenomena. So let us therefore examine what is actually meant by mysticism. I'll wait for you to get a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay. So there are 7 qualities of mysticism that we'll talk about. Number 1, discovering one's ultimate self reality is a phenomenal quality of mysticism, right? So I'm talking about the relationship of man, woman, mind, and the universe. The second quality of mysticism is discovering if there is a supreme universal intelligence or God that resides in the deeper levels of the human mind. The third quality of mysticism is making direct contact with this supreme universal mind or God. The fourth quality of mysticism is actually experiencing this presence. For example, knowing that universal mind or God exists and can be contacted. The fifth quality of mysticism is bringing forth into the conscious mind and surface daily life the creativity, the attributes, and power of the universal mind for the purpose of improving life through the application of practical mysticism. Now, the sixth quality of mysticism is actually being guided from within in all one does in daily life through what I like to call intuitive ESP. Last but not least, the seventh quality of mysticism is synthesizing the functional mind with the creative intelligence of the universe, and therefore being able to create the life that one desires. Now, how is mysticism practiced? Right, the main practice in mysticism is that of meditation. For those who are new to the subject, this reference is to mystical meditation. Right, it's a type of meditation where one attempts to make direct. I repeat, it's a type of meditation where one attempts to make direct contact with the intelligence of the universe, the universal mind, or the mind of God, or God mind in a more spiritual sense. Now, how mystical meditation is accomplished is through daily practice for about 20 minutes to an hour. You want to go into your own mind, not to think, yet to release your everyday thoughts, so that whatever consciousness is at the deeper levels of the mind actually has a chance to surface and become apparent to you. Right. Another practice of mystical meditation is the second or mystical sight. Right. The practice of mystical meditation is obviously done with the physical eyes closed. So as you practice, you will discover a second sight. Right. Your mind will begin to see into itself. And in mysticism, this is, or at least this has been referred to as the mind's eye, the third eye, or the eye of the soul. For the religious crowd, right? This is what Christ referred to when he said, "If thine eye be single, thy body shall be filled with light." Right? The recorded history of religious movements has actually shown that it was not theologians, yet mystics, who were aware of this second sight, and he used it to discover the presence of an ultimate reality, or God. Now, most religious mystics, however, have been satisfied simply to know that the presence exists and have not taken it further, like us, right? They did not apply this awareness to improving their own lives and the lives of others around them. Hence why they did not use what we call practical mysticism. Moving forward with mystical meditation, I want to give you a simple method, that way you can actually get started. Right? There are many methods of mystical meditation, yet I'm going to give you a simple format, that way you can begin. If you've never practiced mysticism, I really suggest the following. Again, write this down. You want to select a time and a place in your home where there is the least likelihood of you being disturbed. Try to keep it at the same place and the same time daily. You want to wear loose, comfortable clothing. Loosen your shoes. Maybe take your shoes off. Loosen your belt, or anything that's binding or restricting. You want to sit in an upright position with your back and spine as straight or relaxed as possible. Either on the ground, at a table, or desk. You also want to place a single white candle in front of you on the table, floor, or desk. With that said, you are actually now ready to proceed. So for approximately 10 minutes, you stare intently into the burning candle flame. The candle really should be about 12 inches from your head. And as you do this, the concentration of your visual gaze will steady and focus your mind, and actually quiet the daily thought waves going through it, quiet the stories that you've been consciously or subconsciously subscribing to or reminiscing on throughout the day. So after approximately 10 minutes, you want to actually close your physical eyes, right? Because having gazed already, intently at the candle flame with your eyes open for about 10 minutes, you should now, with your eyes closed, see an after image of the candle flame in your mind's eye, right? Which is basically at the interior or the middle region of your forehead. With that being said, concentrate on that after image. With most people, the glow will fade out after 2 or 3 minutes. With others, it may seem to fade in and out of visual perception for some time. The point is that you are now using the after image as an inner focal point of concentration. This inner concentration will continue to still your mind. It will free it from outer daily life thinking and make you more aware of the internal consciousness of your mind. Thus, you have successfully shifted from an outer concentration point, the candle, right, to an inner concentration point, which is the after image. With that being said, Once the after image of the candle flame has faded from your mind's eye, you want to sit quietly, right? Looking into the internal consciousness of your own mind. During this time, you may experience the following. And, these experiences will obviously vary from individual to individual, so be open to it not being these things. However, any of these phenomena I'm about to share might be seen with a second sight in one's mind's eye. You may see cloud-like formations with different colors. You may see an inner light or pictures of various phenomena. They could be flat or multidimensional. And these pictures, more specifically, would include images from the subconscious memory bank of the mind. They may include images from what mystics call the after-death dimension or the astral world. So if your mind makes contact with the astral dimensions of the mind, you will generally experience an energy surge or change in your body. Maybe you get goosebumps or you get a little bit of a hot flash. Anyway, this can be a little frightening to the beginner. Yet in reality, there is no need to feel fear, especially if you understand that you are an observer and nothing is going to happen to you. You are learning that other dimensions do exist, and most importantly, that your life will continue beyond death, right? So in other words, there is a continuation of life after so-called death. Now, if you feel discomfort in meditation, do what many mystics do before starting to meditate. They mentally imagine that their body is surrounded with a pure white, spiritual protective light or aura that nothing can penetrate. I want to go back to the images that you may see. You may see a variety of religious symbols. This is actually where most mystics initially, they found that this is where things like cross or the Star of David actually originated, was through this form of meditation. So you may also see, let's say, images of religious ascended masters that you're fond of. For example, Christ-like images or Jesus. So if you see this, don't be startled. It's just what you perceive to be Christ. This isn't a demon or a shadow or anything like that. Again, you're taking a look into a different dimension, or at least a deeper part of your mind. So this is what Christ really means when he spoke of the kingdom of heaven within you, right? You have gone beyond the ordinary awareness of the human mind, and you're basically in the land of the mystic. You're viewing different facets of the universal mind or Adonai mind, and with that inner light, it may come across as one of two phenomena. It may come across as the astral light. Again, this is how mystics and psychics refer to this experience. This light may be limited in its perception, in as much as you still want or you still have a sense of personal selfhood. The other phenomena is the light, which is what all mystics strive for. In this experience, right, all sense of personal selfhood vanishes and is replaced with a sense of universal selfhood, or oneness with the universe, or oneness with God. And with the light that all mystics strive for, there is no sense of the physical body, just oneness with what can only be comprehended as an inner light. that being said, you want to continue to meditate for about 10 minutes daily, right? Really peering and looking into the mind's eye or the third eye. And after you've meditated for a few days, you can gradually increase the amount of time if your intuition calls for it, or if you have the lifestyle and the obligation to, right? So I really recommend that you journal before and after, doing this. That way you can really start to take into conscious account of what is going on in your mind, right? So we're, transitioning into just why meditation is important to the practice of mysticism. Meditation is, in the mystical sense, it is the essential foundation of the practice of practical mysticism. And in practical mysticism, you will learn to use the ultimate power and intelligence of the universe to improve your daily life, right? Mystical meditation is really the key to contacting and maintaining contact with the ultimate intelligence, right? So we aren't really so much concerned with the actual experiences of meditation, apart from it being a source of knowledge and awareness that, yes, indeed, a higher intelligence or mind exists within your mind, and you by yourself can actually contact it. So this experience of mystical meditation doesn't give you knowledge, or it does give you knowledge of life's deeper mysteries, yet more importantly, it really allows you to experience contact with your higher intelligence, which is an incredible thing. You may even include affirmations in your meditation. That way you can transition more into a self-programming state. And with self-programming, you want to make sure that you have a quiet space to yourself. Again, you want to be in a more relaxed state. So don't try to do this if you're anxious, or if you're nervous. You want to really be relaxed. That way you can stay grounded, and that way you can actually give yourself and experience the fruit of a self-programming affirmation. Now, if you're asking, what is accomplished through self-programming, right? It's really aimed at the subconscious or memory bank of the mind. We get programmed unconsciously throughout our day by different, sources or energies or entities in our present reality. Our phone is a great one. So, given that the subconscious mind actually governs 90% of your conscious decision making, self-programming can be used to maintain a positive, conscious, and aware attitude in the surface or conscious mind. Right? The condition or state of your conscious mental attitude is critical, as it really must be open and receptive to receive intuition or creative guidance from our higher mind, which is opened by the process of deep mystical meditation consistently. I would say all self-programming affirmations have to be worded in such a manner as to keep our conscious mind attuned to our higher God mind and not sway left and right. So come back to this from time to time. Practice makes perfect, and as the ultimate mind or mystical power within you takes hold of your life, you will likely experience a plethora of numerous positive changes, right? This won't necessarily happen all at once, Yet you should begin to detect the following signposts. For example, you'll notice an improvement in relations with coworkers, your friends, and family. You observe an increase in personality magnetism, aka people just seem more drawn to you, right? You notice more optimism about yourself and your life. You have a more positive attitude in reaction to daily events. You have an intuitive feeling that you are more in control of conditions rather than having conditions control you. Your thinking is going to be more flexible and adaptable to daily circumstances. You'll have an increased sense that your mind and thoughts are more creative. And as you conduct your daily business, you'll discover ways of doing things and on the spot inspirations that actually move your life forward. You'll begin to sense and finally realize that a higher intelligence is guiding your thoughts, right? And thus guiding your life. More opportunities, both personal and financial, will become readily available to you as a result of the mystical influence of your higher mind on your conscious mind, and increasingly you become intuitively aware of the real motivations of others, and you find yourself being actually accepted more by others. So those are some things that you can expect to experience, and through the mystical power of universal intelligence, spirit, or God mind working through you as you engage in your daily activities, you become aware that really, at last, you have really got it all together, right? You're doing better than you think. You become aware that the mystical trinity of mind, body, and soul have synthesized, and you are a walking manifestation of continual positive success demonstrations in your life. With that being said, that concludes our introduction to practical mysticism. Stay tuned for our conversation about attracting and maintaining prosperity. Peace.